Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Commissioner Notes of the Blackout Don't Lockout Fantasy Football League. This is coming up on the most exciting time of the year for fantasy football. While the NFL regular season has just hit its midpoint, we are only 4 weeks away from playoffs and only 4 weeks away from titling our next sexy just bitch. While it has been an exciting time to watch my team somehow soar into second place, it is even more fun to watch the bottom of the league and write about their sorrows. We have 4 teams within 1 game of each other at the bottom of the league, and 6 teams within 1 game of each other in second to seventh place. It is going to be a fun finish, starting with a bye week that could throw some upsets into action, or make the shit pile grow even larger. And before we get started, it looks like we have another public service announcement. Do you ever get that feeling that you keep looking at the same tits and feel like you want to change? Maybe you look at what's between your legs and realize why your girlfriend laughs every time you make love. Or maybe you're down on your luck and you think a dress is in your near future. Well, do something about it. Act today and make a trade. Trades are awesome. You can give away players that suck dick and get MVP candidates in return. Just ask manager of Thielen myself, Brian Martinez. He says every time he makes a trade, he wakes up feeling like he just had sex with Jessica Biel. Or maybe it was Justin Timberlake. Anyway, he felt amazing after his trade. But hurry, you must act soon before this offer goes away. Make your trade today. You have until November 9th to make a trade. That's right, after November 9th, you will no longer be able to make a trade. Hurry now and change your life today. And looking back at last week, we had some matchups that were very close, but the week ended with no upsets. First, we had the Clown Stars with a significant morning lead and projected to win against Thielen myself. When Adam Thielen left the game in the first quarter and finished with 0 points, it must have been one of the happiest moments for the Clown Stars this season. And then Russell Wilson happened. And 47 points later, the game wasn't even close, and all hope was lost for the Clown Stars. Again. Next, we had our 11th placed ex-Slutty champion in a matchup that looked like he was on the road to an upset. Despite having Christian McCaffrey score 34 points, it looked like he had a fair chance to win behind Zach Ertz and Dalvin Cook. Then Mike Evans put up 24 points, and despite Dallas' defense putting up 23 points, the flat play of Tom Brady dug a grave for Dalvin and the Jets contenders. And the last close to upset of the week was the hopeful Snouts, who did have a good chance at winning in this back and forth matchup against I've Got a Golden Ticket. After the Sunday morning and afternoon games, the Snouts were down only 3 points with a wide receiver, a running back, and a kicker still to play, while their opponent had a wide receiver and a running back left to play. And on Sunday Night Football, Gold's members put up a combined 29 points, while Sony Michel limped by with only 3 points. That left 29 points for Golden Tate and Brett Maher to put up on Monday night. Despite Maher's 14 points, his missed 54-yard field goal would have made the final score of the matchup 98.55 to 98.54 in favor of the Snouts. However, that didn't happen, and now the Snouts have a great shot to wear the dress. And I will be saying this for the next 3 weeks, but next week's matchups could make things very interesting. We're led off by the number 2 Wookiees versus number 3 I Suck Dick in My Dress. These teams have been doing great, as both teams have won 4 out of the last 5 weeks. This matchup has limited bye week factors, but the biggest question will be the health of James Conner for the Wookiees. Right now, Yahoo projects this to be an even matchup, but there are some tougher matchups for the Wookiees than I Suck Dick in My Dress. This game will be a huge step towards locking in the first round bye. The next matchup to watch of the winning teams are the worst shit talkers in our league, or at least the worst to each other. You both use the same fucking garbage, so get some new material and fucking get back to me. In this week's matchup of Thielen myself versus the Benicia Foreskins, the Foreskins come off their 3rd weekly high score, despite having the 7th most points in the league. This week will be a little tougher, as they will not have number 2 ranked QB Deshaun Watson, as their bye week will make this a little more interesting. The opponent will have a little hurdle with the bye week, as Philip Lindsay and more importantly Leonard Fournette are both on byes. His QB decision will be tough this week, as Russell Wilson, the league's top QB, is against the 49ers, who have given up the 2nd least points to QBs. Or Drew Brees, who never should have been on this team in the first place if it wasn't for Nick fucking Brown, plays against the Atlanta Falcons, who have given up the third most points to QBs this season. Maybe there is collusion between these teams. I mean, CMC magically appeared on Brian's team last year, and Drew Brees magically appeared on this team this year. Well, yeah. Anyway, they were able to skate by last week with Adam Thielen out, but his health will be an important aspect to the success of Thielen myself. Will Benicia Foreskin step up into the ranks of the playoffs, or will they take their chump change and miss the playoffs for a third straight year? And there are some interesting matchups at the bottom of the league as well. The first being the auto sheet versus the number one Clown Stars, aka Battle of the Knicks. While the title of Better Nick may not be held on this battle alone, it will significantly swing the scale. Number one Clown Stars are coming off the pot with a pretty average week, while the Auto Sheep are coming off their worst score by a wide margin. The Auto Sheep have scored over 100 points in all but 3 weeks, while the Clown Stars have scored 100 points in only 2 weeks. On top of that, let's look at the bye weeks. The Clown Stars will be missing DeAndre Hopkins, Jordan Howard, and Mohamed Sanu from bye week, and possibly both Jacoby Brissett and T.Y. Hilton due to injury. Nasab had all his bye weeks last week, so this week he'll only be missing Courtland Sutton. Well, not to put any pressure on you, Nasab, but you better not fucking lose this week. Of course, if the Clown Stars were able to pull off the upset, these teams would be tied in record and put Nasab back in the Jets conversation once again. The last matchup to watch is the number 10 Snouts versus number 11 Dalvin and the Chipmunks. These two shitty teams face off, and also could be tied with I'm not even going to call it an upset. But the Snouts have won 3 out of the last 5 games and almost made it 4 in a row last week, which is pretty decent for someone sitting in 10th place. However, they are among the lowest scoring teams in the league, so a win this week will do a lot towards keeping them out of the dress. On the other side of the scoreboard, the poor Dalvin and the Chipmunks, who have not only the second least amount of points in the league, but also have the most points scored against them. Not a good combo. They have scored over 100 points 3 times this season, while their opponents have only scored under 100 twice, which happens to be the games they won. Looking at the rosters, the Snouts are nothing to write home about. However, it is looking even worse for Dalvin and the Chipmunks, as Tom Brady is on bye and they will have to search the waiver wire for a QB. And that QB, Jimmy G. And don't look now, but look who's back. A woman beater is back in the NFL. That's right, Kareem Hunt's suspension is over and he's back. He's back in brown. Will Kareem Hunt come back with a vengeance, or will God punish him for his sins? Only time will tell.